He blocked my driveway with his truck, stepped out shirtless, and said, "Those bags? They ain't yours." I stared at him, confused, still holding my toddler with one arm and 2 grocery bags in the other. He smirked, cracked his knuckles, and repeated louder, "Put the food down." "That belongs to the HOA. My mom said so." I was still in uniform. Off duty, sure, but my badge was clipped right to my belt. Didn't matter. His mother, Karen, stormed out moments later like she was on stage, robe, slippers, clipboard. "You people don't belong here," she yelled. "This isn't Section 8. My daughter flinched. That's when I calmly said, "I live here. And those groceries are for my kid. Move your truck." Karen didn't blink. "We already called the police. You're threatening my son. He's just a kid." The kid was nearly 30, built like a linebacker. And now he was circling my car like he owned the place. I could feel it boiling up inside me, but I stayed still. Watched him pick one of the grocery bags straight out of my hand and toss it into the dirt. Milk burst open. That's when I reached into my pocket. Not for a gun, not for a baton, it's just for my radio. "Unit 47, I said slowly. "We've got impersonation, assault, and potential hate crime at 214 Beechwood Circle. Suspects are still on site." Karen's eyes went wide. "Wait, what?" I turned to her, clipped the radio back on, and added, "You just called the cops on the commanding officer of the local precinct." Karen's mouth hung open like she'd swallowed her own lie. Her son took a step back, finally noticing the badge on my belt and the radio still crackling. But it was too late. 2 squad cars rolled up less than a minute later, lights flashing, sirens off. These weren't rookies. These were my people. Officer Jenkins was the first out. He didn't even look confused, just nodded at me and said, "Commander, you all right?" Karen bolted toward him like it was a lifeline. "Thank God you're here. He attacked my son and tried to steal our food. He's not even supposed to be here. He threatened me." Jenkins blinked slowly. Then he looked at me, then at her son, who was still standing next to the spilled milk like an idiot. I didn't say a word. Jenkins turned to his partner. "We need to separate them, get statements. And someone get the footage. There's cameras on every corner of this block." Karen went pale. "Footage," she echoed. No, that won't be necessary. I just meant we should de-escalate." Too late again. Her son finally spoke, voice shaking now. "This is harassment. He was aggressive first. He threatened us." Stepped forward, calm but steady. "You demanded my food in front of my child. You knocked groceries out of my hand. That's on camera. And your mom made a false police report. While calling me you people, I looked straight at Karen. I've seen people go to jail for less. You should know. You voted for the mayor who signed that bill?" Karen started trembling. Her son looked ready to run, but then Jenkins got a call in his earpiece, nodded, and looked right at her. "Ma'am, you're being detained under suspicion of filing a false report, obstruction, and potential harassment. We'll sort it out at the station." No, you don't understand," Karen stammered. "I run the HOA. I own this block." That's when Jenkins raised an eyebrow. "Then maybe don't threaten the man who writes our deployment schedules." She froze like someone had hit pause on her entire world. "Deployment?" she whispered. "Wade's really the commander?" Her son stepped in front of her like he could shield her from the truth. "We didn't know," he mumbled, eyes darting around. "He doesn't look like finish that sentence," I said, quietly. The street was dead silent. Even the officers stopped moving. He didn't say another word. Jenkins motioned to the second officer. "Cuff him." The son backed up fast. Wait, I didn't touch him. That was an accident." The bag just slipped. "I was just trying to talk to him. You tossed groceries in front of a child," the other officer said, yanking his arms behind his back. "And your mom? She just confessed to filing a fake report on a police official? You're both in deep." Karen started crying the moment the cuffs clicked on her son. "You can't do this. This is my community, my rules. I'm on the HOA board." "That doesn't give you legal authority," Jenkins snapped. "It's a neighborhood committee, not the Pentagon." I took a breath, finally setting my daughter down in the car seat. She hadn't cried, not once. Just sat there with her little eyes locked on mine. Karen turned back to me like begging might work now. "We didn't know who you were. Should've said something." I looked right at her and said, "You shouldn't treat anyone like that, no matter who they are." A few neighbors had come out by then. Some filming, some just staring. One guy muttered, "About damn time." And just when I thought it was over, Jenkins stepped closer and said, "Commander, you might want to hear what the responding unit found taped to your front door." Held it out, a folded HOA violation notice. Fake seal, fake citation number, and handwritten in red ink. Immediate eviction recommended. Non-compliant and unapproved resident. Subject looks suspicious. That was it. The word suspicious was underlined 3 times. I took the paper and stared at it. My jaw tightened, but I didn't say anything. I just folded it back up slowly and slid it into my pocket. Karen must have sensed what that silence meant because she started shaking again. It was just a warning. It wasn't official lit. It was just to, get his attention. "That's not how warnings work," I said, still calm. "And this isn't just discrimination. It's targeting. Based on race, uniform, family. You put that on my door knowing exactly what you meant." Karen's son started protesting again, but the second officer shut him down fast. "Save it for your lawyer." More neighbors were recording now. One lady across the street was whispering to another, "That's the 3rd time she's done this. Last month it was the Hispanic couple 2 houses down." I heard it. So did Jenkins. He turned to me and nodded once. "We'll be checking into that too." Karen reached for my arm like suddenly she wanted to make peace. "Listen, let's just fix this. No need to escalate. You know how things get misunderstood sometimes? We're all neighbors, right?" I stepped back. "You tried to evict my child over the color of my skin and the fact I shop at a grocery store you don't approve of. There's no misunderstanding in that." Then I pointed toward the squad car. "You want to talk about neighbors? Talk to the people you've bullied for years while hiding behind a fake title and a clipboard." Karen's eyes darted around, realizing nobody was on her side anymore. Even the folks who used to back her on HOA meetings were now standing on their lawns, quiet, recording, watching her get exposed. "I didn't mean it like that," she whispered, but Jenkins already had her in cuffs. "Ma'am, you have the right to remain silent. I strongly suggest you start using it." As they walked her to the car, she called out one last desperate plea. "You're ruining everything. This neighborhood was perfect before people like you moved in." I stopped, turned to face her one last time and said, "That's funny. Because my house was here before yours even existed. I've owned this land for 10 years. Her eyes flickered. "What?" "Bought it after returning from Afghanistan," I added. "Veterans Housing Grant, which means—" I pulled out my phone and showed Jenkins the scanned deed. "You don't just not own it too. You've been trespassing on a federally protected property." Karen's knees buckled.